So for all of these problems, we first look at the number off on the right side of the equation. So for the first one, it would be y is 1. That's our asymptote. The second one, it's 0. It's not what's up by the x. So y is 0 is the asymptote. The next one, it's y equals negative 3. And then we have y equals negative 3. Then y is 6. And y equals 0, right? There's no number to the right side of the e to the x. This asymptote is also going to help us with our range. For example, for the first one, it's either going to be y is greater or less than. It's greater than 1 because when we draw the image, our graph is above that asymptote. So for example, for the second one, if our asymptote is y is 0, our image is below the asymptote, so that's why we say y is less than 0. For the next one, if our asymptote, our dotted line that our graph approaches, is y is negative 3, our graph is above it, so we say the y values are greater than negative 3. So that's a quick review of the asymptotes and the range. The domain for all of these is all reals. And then in terms of transformations, let's look at this bottom one because everything's going on here. If the first symbol you see is negative, it means it reflects across the x-axis. Then the number 2, that's not the base. It's not the number under the x. The number 2 means there's a vertical stretch because 2 is bigger than 1. Then the number beside x is the left-right movement, so it's opposite. So it went to the right 4. Over here we have a plus 6, so it went up 6. Okay, so for all the transformations, we can look at those 4 spots. At most, there's 4 things. First, if there's a negative in front, there's a reflection across the x-axis. And you only see that in both middle ones, right? This one, there's a negative, and this one there's a negative. So there's a reflection in those both across the x-axis. Then the second thing you look for is the number in front of the base. If it's greater than 1, it's a vertical stretch. And if it's smaller than 1, it's a vertical shrink. Now it's not the base. So for the first one, there's no number in front, it's just a 1. Let's see. It's only this bottom middle one. The base is 1, 6. We don't include that, but the 2, since it's bigger than 1, that's why there was a vertical stretch. And then for the last one, the base is e. E is a number, right? It's about 2.7. The number in front's a 3, and since the number in front is bigger than 1, that's why there's a vertical stretch. Okay, next, the third thing we look for is left-right movement. So we look at what's beside the x. So for this first one, there's nothing beside the x. It's just x up top by itself, so there's no left-right movement. Then for the next one, it says x plus 1. So because of that plus 1, it means we went to the left 1 unit. Then the right side one, it says x minus 2. So we go to the right 2. The bottom left one, there's nothing beside the x, so no left-right movement. Then for the bottom middle one, it says x minus 4, so that's why it's to the right 4. And then the last one, it just has the x by itself, so there's no left-right movement. Then last, if there at most can be 4 different things that will go on for these problems. Up-down movement, it's the number on the far right side. It's also related to the asymptote. So for the first one, it's positive 1, right? The asymptote was 1. It went up 1. The next one, there's no number off to the right, so it didn't go up or down. Then we have negative 3, so that went down 3. Then we have negative 3 off to the right, so that went down 3. Then we have plus 6, so that one went up 6. And then we have 0, so that did not go up or down.